much, ladies and gentlemen. It's such an honour on International Women's Day to be here and to be surrounded with these incredible women, and obviously the incredible women here as well. I just want to give you a little bit of background, I guess, on me, because many of you probably won't really know me, and why I'm fighting for the rights of women and girls. I won my medals in swimming really back in the 70s and the 80s, and I spent the whole of my life competing against these Germans. It meant that many girls lost out on their medals. In fact, that went on for 20 years before it stopped, and it wasn't really even stopped then by the IOC. It was only stopped because the Berlin Wall came down in 1989. So I was determined that that was not going to happen to another generation of young girls. Now you have to remember that women's sport, 51% of us around this fantastic world actually get 4% of the money that comes into sport. That's all we get. The sponsorship dollar is 4%. Men get 96% of every penny and every pound that comes into the world of sport. And just in 2015, the IOC decided that we weren't even entitled to fair sport anymore. So I thought, I can't sit by and watch this be taken away from our young girls who've made such big strides. And of course, I put my head above the parapet, and I paid a very big price for it. But I would do it all over again if I had to. I have heard some of your stories, for a long time. But I have to say, yesterday when I was in a workshop, I was the most cry-blithering person in the room, because the stories are just incredible. And it's these stories that you have to get out to people. Because most of us in the world, not in this room because you're politicians, okay, but most of us in the world, we don't necessarily understand what it is to be an Iranian. We don't understand what it is to be that oppressed. We don't understand what it is like to be in a war. We haven't had a war in the West for 80 years. But we understand what it's like to be a mother and to be put in a jail away from your child. And we understand what it is to have your rights taken away from you. So these are the stories that you need to get out. Now, I had lots of things written down here about me working for 10 years and you working for 46 years, and about, the suffering of your young girls, and the fact that they literally will write something on the wall or give out a leaflet and they end up in prison. One of the things that I found quite extraordinary was that sports people had been particularly targeted. And there was a young lady called Firenze Abdi. Now, she was the captain of the Iranian volleyball team at the same time as I was winning my Olympic medal. And when I think of Firenze, I think that could have been me. If I'd been born in a different country, because I'm pretty outspoken, right? So it would have been me. And I'm so proud of what she did, and how she did her time in prison, and when she was due to be released, they made her stay there. And in, obviously, 1988, she was killed along with 30,000 other people. And that almost went unnoticed in the world. 30,000 people is just extraordinary. So after the torture, the barbarism, the tyrannical regime that's obviously in place that treats women as third-class citizens, the spirit of my fellow athletes moved me so much that I decided when I was asked to come today that I couldn't possibly not come. I've been fighting for those sports rights for a long time, but it's absolutely nothing compared to the rights that you guys have been fighting for, and the rights of your fantastic women that are in Iran have been fighting for. I stand in solidarity with the women in Iran and all the women all over the world being subjugated at the moment, and for the brave heroines of the resistant unit, Women, Resistance, Freedom. Women around the world, we are sisters in womanhood. We must stand together to back Mrs. Rabaji's 10-point plan for change, for a future free, a democratic Iran where Iranian women, just like me, can do sport, work, lead, and have a voice. What an incredible waste of talent and of human resources not to allow women to be the best that they can be to grow their nation. I also don't understand that. You have this resource and you are locking it away. You can win. So when I started my fight, it was an extremely difficult battle. And the activists would ring every single charity that I worked for, every single job that I had. They threatened my livelihood, they threatened my life, they even threatened the life of my children. So I decided I wasn't going to buckle, just like you're not buckling. My challenge was nothing like yours. I'm not comparing it. I'm just saying a tiny bit of me understands how difficult it is, and that's why I'm here today. But what I do want to say is that after that 10 years, we've now got 6 candidates for the IOC who will be elected very shortly, and every single one of them has promised to protect the female category at the Olympic Games. So, what I'm saying is that you can win. We hear you, we see you, and we stand with you. The biggest reason I came today was to directly look down this camera and to talk to the amazing resistant units that are in Iran taking the most incredible risks right now. And I want to say, every single sportswoman around the world is Forenza. Keep fighting.